What's up guys, Perry from Rockville here, and today I'm going to show you how to set up your Z-SIX 2-source 6-zone home and commercial audio zoner. As you can see, it comes with the unit itself. You'll see that there's 6 volume knobs for each zone. There's also an on and off switch for each zone. And there's also an A/B switch on each zone, allowing you to select which source you play on each zone. So the first step in this setup is connecting our receiver, which is our RPA 60BT V2, right to the Z-SIX. For that, I'm going to take 2 sets of speaker wire. I'm going to take one end and connect it into the input A terminals here on the Z-SIX. Like so. And we're doing it for the left positive and negative as well as the right positive and negative. Then we're going to take the other ends and plug them into the speaker outputs of our amplifier. Now if we wanted to connect a second amplifier to the Z-SIX, we'll actually be doing the same exact thing except plugging into the input B terminals here on the back. But we'll actually get to that in a bit. So for step 2, I'm going to connect my speakers into the zone outputs of the Z-SIX. You're going to want to be sure to use 8-ohm speakers, which is actually the standard for pro audio or home audio setups. So for today, I'm going to connect one pair of 8-ohm rock shelf speakers to zone 1 and another pair of the same exact speakers to zone 2. So for that, I'm going to need a set of speaker wire for each speaker. Starting with my right side here, I'm going to take one end of each speaker wire and plug them into the terminals on the back of the speakers. And now for these speakers, I'm going to connect the other ends into the terminals for zone 1. And as you're seeing right now, you'll connect one speaker to the right positive and negative terminals here. And for the other speaker, we'll connect to the left positive and negative terminals here. And then for the next pair of speakers, we're going to do the same exact thing, except we're plugging into the zone 2 inputs here on the back of the Z-SIX. So that covers everything for the base setup, so now let's go over some of the features here on the Z-SIX. First we have our A/B source select button, where we can select which zone is playing from which source. So let's say I want zone 1 to play music from the RPA 60 that we have connected to input A. I'll actually want to leave the select source pressed up so that the zone knows to play music from input A. I'll also want to activate the zone by setting it to the on position. Then I'll want to raise the volume knob so we hear the music coming out of the speakers. So now I'll go ahead and turn on my amplifier. Now I have my iPad here connected to the amplifier, so I'm going to play some music for you guys and bring in zone 2 halfway through. Here we go. Again, this is out of zone 1. Sounds good. So again, we can bring up zone 2 for more volume. Oh yeah. There you go. Definitely some more body to it. Again, this is really good if you have one zone dedicated to one room and another zone dedicated to the other room. Oh yeah. Sounds really good. Now you could also use something like our VLL 855 wall volume controller with the Z-SIX, so you can control the volume coming out of the speakers from each room you're in. So for this setup, you're going to run the speaker wires coming out of the zone outputs here into the inputs right here on the volume controller. So for example, you'll run the speaker wire coming from the right positive and right negative terminals here from zone 1 and plug them into the right positive and right negative terminals here on the VLL 855. Then you'll do the same exact thing with the left positive and left negative output here of the Z-SIX into the left positive and left negative inputs here on the VOL 855. Now we'll just tighten up these terminals to lock them in place. So now to connect the volume controller to the speakers, we'll grab 2 more speaker wire. We'll connect one end to the outputs here of the volume controller. Again, right positive and negative and left positive and negative. Once again, tighten up these terminals to lock it in place. Then we'll take the other ends and plug them right into the speakers. Now keep in mind you can set up even more speakers with the remaining zones, so you have up to 12 8-ohm speakers playing music from the same source, or you can set up another amplifier to the zoner like our RPA 70 WBT V2 right here and have some zones play music from one amp and the other zones playing music from the other amp. To use the dual source option, we're going to simply connect our second amplifier to the B inputs here on the back of the zoner. And on each zone, we'll use the A/B button to decide which particular zone is playing which source. So now that I've got everything all set up here and ready to go, I'm gonna play music from zones 1 and 2 in this room here, and then I'm gonna play music from zones 3 and 4 into the next room where we have some speakers set up. All right, here we go. So right here we're playing some techno music. We can dance the night away in this room, go all crazy. But if you want to go for a breather, you can step into this room here. You'll notice in here we got some smooth jazz playing. Total contrast to what we had playing in that room. So now everything's working. This is great if we want to take a breather, get away from that scene over there. Sounds really good too. Nice. So hopefully this showed you guys how easy it is to set up your Z-SIX 2-source 6-zone home and commercial audio zoner. But of course, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to our customer support team through phone or email. As always, I'm Perry from Rockville, and we'll see you guys next time.